subscribe. Tariq Radio. Like and subscribe.
Nebu. Yo, Nebu, hop on. I hope Nebu ain't one of those East Indian dudes who be calling up real late. Let me get him out of here. I don't want to. He might be one of those dudes. All right, now y'all raise your hand if you're ready to get on. How many folks we got in here? Raise your hand. We got 1,300 in the building. Shout out to everybody in here. Raise your hand if you are ready to get on, ladies and gentlemen. All right, let's raise them hands and let me know when you are ready to speak. Let's get Prime Definition. Mr. Prime Definition in the building. Prime, what's up, brother? Prime Definition, what's up, bro? Then we'll get Camille. I'm gonna just let a whole bunch of folks up so they'll be ready. Okay, Prime, what's up, brother?
Hey, what's going on, Tariq, man? I'm a big fan, man. I've been listening since I want to say like 2016. I can't really gauge or whatever. But
Now,
I'm
real young. How old are you, brother?
I'm 32.
Okay, so you've been listening since you're like early 20s, right?
Yeah, some like that on and off. I got onto you from the Breakfast Club, I think it was.
Yeah.
I didn't even think I was gonna get into space, so I appreciate that. I'm former military. I was kind of just looking at from the time they said that back in the day when our ancestors used to get in the military or get out of the military and they wouldn't be able to get home loans and things of that nature or whatever, and they would or get back out of the military and they wouldn't be able to get jobs. And I'm just looking at it from that perspective, and then just like going to fast forward to 2024, and man, it's crazy because I've been looking for a job, and it's been wild for me. And I just recently just found one going back to the USPS or whatever, but it was just so crazy that I couldn't find a job. It was so hard for me to get into the office, and I'm just like Kamala and Biden, they just don't make the economy how it should be. You know what I'm saying?
Right, and that's unfortunate, man. We got so many FBA brothers and sisters like yourself and others, man, struggling to find work, and they're fast tracking all of these non-citizens across the border into job training and jobs. They got jobs waiting on them. And we got brothers and sisters out here struggling to find work, man. I'm cool, man. You would be a fool to support Kamala Harris and Biden and those guys. You would be as a black person, hell, even as a white person. What the hell you getting out of it? That ain't helping you either. What y'all getting out of it? As a black person, especially, you're not getting nothing. Camille, what's up, dear?
Hey, how's it going, Tariq? I just wanted to chime in and not jump in on anyone's toes. Yeah, so I'm listening to a lot of spaces, particularly yours. I like a lot of what you're saying. I do have some questions. Just wanted to bounce something off of you. Do you think that pilgrims or the dominant society, aka white people, are inherently evil or racist in the way that they would treat us FBAs inhumane?
No, and I don't go for that narrative. And that's a very good question, by the way. That's a very good question. Um, a lot of people will give the narrative that, well, white people are just inherently evil and racist. No, I don't believe that. It's a choice. Everybody has a choice. You have a choice to make. You can choose not to be jacked up. You can choose not to have a janky mindset. I don't believe that a lot of them has the strength to stand up against a system that gives them unearned and unjust benefits. And they don't have the guts to stand up to an evil system. So they choose to be a part of that evil system for the benefits. You're not
But
in here. there's just benefits into going along with an evil system, and that shows cowardice. So there's a lot of them that are cowardly, because being a white supremacist is being a goddamn coward. And that's a very good question, sister. Let me tell you something, black folks. We have a choice. We got choices, and usually we choose to do the right thing morally, because we got a spirit. That spirit of Majara in us is unlike any other. We stand up against injustice for other people, even if it puts us in a detrimental situation. We stand up to it, and that's why we have more um, moral capital than most people. That's why they're always trying to align themselves with us, because when we see injustice happening to people, we stepped up and we speak out against it. We help them fight against injustice, even though we go through injustice. We don't want to see that happening to people. Just like we always talk about when they were about to invade Ethiopia in the 1930s and 40s, it was foundational Black Americans lining up around this country, willing to risk their lives to go over there and help them. You understand? During the Vietnam War, when they tried to draft one of the biggest celebrities in the USA, Muhammad Ali, that man put his career on the line and said, "Hey, I'm not going to go over there and harm those innocent people. I'm not going to harm them non-white people. I'm dealing with racism here. I'd be a hypocrite over here. Y'all not giving me all the rights I'm supposed to get, and I'm going to go over there and fight for you. I'm not doing that. I'm going to stand up and say no." That takes courage to do that. You don't have white people who do stuff like that. That's a choice. You can. It's like only a handful get down like that. Like John Brown. That's like one of the few who said, "Hey, this slavery stuff ain't it. I'm about to just get a gun and start knocking these heads off. This ain't cool. I'm about to put it on the line." Only a handful of them will get down like that. And we've always done that. We've had that spirit of Majara, man, that lets us say, "Hey, man, we got a choice to do the right thing, even if it's unpopular, even if it puts me in a bad situation. I'm going to do the right thing. I'm going to do what's spiritually, morally right." When black folks in the late 1800s, when they were sent over to the Philippines to fight in that war, and the white supremacists were basically committing a genocide against the Filipino people because they were calling them the N-word. They called that the N-word war, and they were just targeting innocent Filipinos. It was black people in the army, especially a brother named David Fagan, who defected from the U.S. Army and started to help the Filipinos and taught them guerrilla warfare so they would not be genocided. Y'all hear me talk about David Fagan a lot. We got an image of David Fagan at the Hidden History Museum. That man put his life on the line, became a Maroon, became a general in the guerrilla warfare army out there, and basically saved a lot of people. Became a folk hero out there in the Philippines. Nobody does that except us. Nobody steps up here and fights for other groups and does the right thing consistently when it's unpopular. You see, the thing is, a lot of people in the dominant white society, they go along with white supremacy, because if you don't go along with it, one of the rules is, well, we're going to treat you like an N-word true. If you sit up here and don't go along with white supremacy, then you are an N-word lover, and we're going to treat you just like them. They don't want that. Nobody wants that treatment. Being marginalized, they can't take it. That's one of the punishments. You better go along with what we got going here, or we're going to give you the same treatment. Now, you ain't an N-word lover, are you? You see? So, yeah, you're not inherently evil. You got a choice. Everybody has a choice to do the right thing or do the wrong thing. Some people go along to get along. We all got a choice. You understand? Listen, when I'm working in Hollywood, in 2010, I had about 3 TV deals on the table for me to do relationship shows. We were doing pilots and the whole thing. I had about 3 deals going on where they wanted to give me a television show because I was doing a whole bunch of television at the time. They wanted me to just do the relationship stuff. I had best-selling relationship books. But at the time, I saw a trend that I really didn't like. At the time, around 2008, 2009, 2010, if you remember, there were a bunch of movies coming out of Hollywood that were horribly depicting Black people. You had the Blind Side and The Help, movies like Precious, The Butler, all of these movies showing Black people in this horrific light. And I made a choice. I said, hey, I can either get this little Hollywood money and just go along to get along and do these relationship shows and keep my mouth shut and just get money personally for myself, or I can do something revolutionary. I can produce my own film going hard body about Black history, going in on white supremacy. So I had to make a decision. The people in Hollywood I was working with, they did not want me to do that. But it was something that's needed. It needed to be done. So I started the Hidden Colors series. I did the Hidden Colors series. There had never been anything done like Hidden Colors. Never. If you remember, listen, before Hidden Colors, name something even remotely close to Hidden Colors. There was nothing like that. Where you're talking about Black history from a grassroots perspective, just really going in on white supremacy, you never see that. There was nothing as radical as Hidden Colors. And I understood the only way we would be able to do that, I couldn't get the money from Hollywood. We had to get it from the grassroots. We'd have to raise it on our own, which is what we did. We got the money on the grassroots, put Hidden Colors out, became an international phenomenon. And we had 5 entries in that series. And it changed the game as we know it. Phenomenal series, changed the game as we know it. Became historic films. You dig? It's okay to do the right thing. Sometimes it's all right to do the right thing. Let's get Josh in here. Let's get Mr. Josh in here. All right, Josh. What's up, Josh? Let's get Mr. Josh. Josh Denny.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. What's up, Josh?
Not much, man. Listen, Tariq, you and I have gone back and forth on X a few times debating different things. And I got to tell you, one of the things I'm like blown away with in this space is how much we agree on. It's funny sitting in this space. It's not, as a white conservative, I got to tell you, the things that people have brought up in this space are almost identical to the same concerns that people in conservative spaces have.
Yeah. 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 Like, what are the things that you've been hearing in some of your spaces?
In the conservative space? Well, just the idea that, I loved what, God, I'm trying to remember what the young man's name was who was cooking. Gavin the Great earlier was just talking about Obama kind of sunning everybody about Kamala. And I thought everything he said was on the money. This idea that they were going to roll old Barack out to sort of scold, Black Americans as if you guys can't make your own decisions.
Right. Absolutely.
And I really see this election, and I really see, the populist rush behind Trump, just an indictment on government elitism, which I think has, you often refer to it as white supremacy. I don't know if I agree with that concept as a white who's never felt like he's been on the side of the elites in his entire life. But I think
exists. We can't be in white supremacy denial because the people who practice, that's their word. They told us that it exists, and they had all types of laws and policies that they beat us over the head with. So that's their term, and I believe them. So yeah.
Right. I understand that. This is probably one of the areas we disagree on, and I also agree with you about Hollywood. I mean, I'm somebody who was working in show business in, right around the Trump election in 2016. And famously, my show went away when I started voicing unpopular political beliefs and things like that online. So I can understand that. I did want to ask you, did you watch the Madam CJ Walker story on Netflix that they did with Octavia Spencer? Did you think that they did that story justice?
I know it was a lot of stuff that I didn't like in it. They were kind of focusing on some kind of little LG relationship stuff. So it was cool, and I like Octavia Spencer. I like her acting, but it was cool. I think it could have been better, but it was cool. I like some of the people that were in it.
Yeah, because when we talk about Hollywood is starved for good Black stories, I mean, the fact that one of the first female millionaires in the country was a Black woman, I thought that was a great opportunity. And And yeah, like you said, they couldn't help but shove the gay agenda into it. And that's one of the things that I think is like, I think it's kind of interesting to, you know, a lot of my black friends in Hollywood, when we talk about where the industry is moving, it's almost like the opportunities exist as long as you're willing to co-sign on a very pro LGBTQ agenda. And I feel like one of the hardest things for black Americans in Hollywood and entertainment is like, why does that have to be the caveat? Why does that have to be the caveat to participate in? Listen, I've been in comedy for a long time. I remember listening to Eddie Griffin talk about this. Like, yeah, you can be a star in Hollywood as a black man. You just have to put a dress on.
Yeah. It's a, you know what? It's an extension of the whole concept of buck breaking, which has been around for a long time. They've always done this thing where you're going to show a black male, you have to show him in two ways. You can't show him as a man. So you have two other options. You have to grown boy, or you have to show him as a de facto woman.
Yeah.
This started really television heavily in the 70s when you had Flip Wilson, who's a great guy, but they had him in a dress playing a character named Gerald. Also in the 70s, you had shows where you had John Amos, who was the strong father, but the person who became the star of the show was JJ, basically like a grown boy. Now,
yeah, there is this sort of overt desire to remove masculinity from the way men are presented in Hollywood, and you see that in the casting and the selections of like.
Well, go ahead. I made a mistake and hit a button on you. Go ahead, John.
Hold on. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, that was me. My bad.
That's okay. No, I was saying, you know, that there is this clearly contrived effort by Hollywood to remove the masculinity from black men in entertainment, you know, and one of the things we talk about on my podcast all the time is that part in both sports and entertainment where it's almost like we will elevate black voices, we will elevate black people as long as we can emasculate them in the process.
Yeah.
And that's why you see people like Gerard Carmichael getting pushed through the Hollywood matrix, and you're not seeing anyone, you know, like, I'm trying to think of the black comic's name in LA who's very, very funny, who used to roll with Kev on Stage and Tony Baker. He's a little light skin, has freckles, but he's a hilarious dude, but, you know, more masculine and doesn't quite get the love from traditional Hollywood that some of the gay black comics here do.
Yeah. Dynamic. There's a lot of noise going on there, Josh. But Josh, sound like, are you in a casino somewhere? A lot of noise going on. But thank you so much, Josh. Yeah, man. Yeah, the buck breaking is real. Buck breaking has not stopped. Buck breaking is absolutely real.
I created a community for ticket resellers. Hi, I'm AP The Plug, a successful ticket reseller. I've helped several people start their own online ticket business. Now I'm offering you access to our exclusive membership program, complete with resources, tools, and coaching to help you succeed. With our program, you can earn extra income, enjoy a flexible schedule, and follow proven strategies to succeed. Don't wait. Click the link below to get started today and transform your financial future.